same Edo State, where Governor Monday Okpebholo said to them that if they don't wear the infinity cap, the ESCO, that if they don't wear the infinity cap, you know, they shouldn't come into the ESCO premises, into the secretariat. Then the Jarret Tenebe went a step further to say that those who don't wear the infinity cap will be suspended. And now we've progressed even further to admit that the members of the party have no sense and they're zombies when it comes to the governor. Again, I would say that loyalty is an ingredient that is necessary for politics. But loyalty also has to be done with some measure of decorum, especially when you know that Nigeria is insensitive. We're very sensitive with how we view our politicians. Nigerians take them with a pinch of salt, everything they say and do with a pinch of salt. So maybe, I don't know who advises them, to be careful of the kind of things they say in public. I know he will say that he was speaking to party faithful and he's not talking to the citizens of the state. But this is the problem that we have, because what he said, whilst he may be able to justify it, that represents how a number of politicians in Nigeria behave, how a number of political parties behave, where we're tethered to the center, to the leadership, and they're surrounded by yes men, people who are unable to tell them the truth when it's necessary for them to call them out on bad behavior. That is the concern.
Let's not forget that this same person in question, Mr. Jarret.
That's one that I just mentioned now, that said if they don't come with a Jagaban cap, they'll be suspended. Yes,
and he's known to make very, very, I'm trying to look for the right word. He's known to make very, let me use the word, unfortunate statements. Statements that shouldn't be made by one who presumes or calls himself a leader. Take, for instance, he also had made a statement at some point that he hates Peter Obi. And he did not hold back. And while he was asked, he said, yes, that he hates him. He used the word hate. And here he is again. He also has a clear statement here saying that, that they're zombies. In other words, that they have no break, and so on and so forth. Where I have a challenge is the statement of, we have guaranteed Mr. President over 3-point-something million votes.
How?
I think we have to be careful with this sentiment we're bandying or that's being shared around, especially by politicians. Because when you say you guarantee, the Constitution does not allow an individual or a party, and I stand to be corrected, even by whoever, does not allow for a politician to say, I guarantee you XYZ number of votes.
Well, there have been
especially in a country where vote buying is a major challenge. And I think INEC should step up right now. This is where Josh Amupita should come forth and possibly put a press release out there, putting these politicians on their seats and letting them know that, listen, going forward, nobody should be able to make such statements in public, telling whoever it is, whether it's Mr. President, that I guarantee you 3.5 million votes. One will say it's just an exercise in fruition, you're just assuring the president, or one will say you're just saying it's futility, you're just talking about it rather. But then again, like we say, in a country that is struggling with vote buy, let's be very careful when they come out in public and say, I guarantee you. Guarantee can also mean that you are, in other words,
you're going to do whatever it takes.
Doing whatever it takes to ensure that you provide those numbers.
Especially because we have been bedeviled with challenges like vote buying, voter intimidation, and against the bedrock of these challenges, you coming out to boldly state that we're guaranteeing you how many million votes might infer that there's a possibility of manipulation that can happen somewhere. Again, we have recognized that some of these statements are made to party faithfuls, but politicians must be very careful the things that they say, especially when you're the party in power, you have nothing to prove. You don't need the validation of Nigerians. You have nothing to prove. So it must be very, very, very careful. But then again, this also reflects our culture, our Nigerian culture, the culture of, again, sucking up to those at the top.
Yeah.
Where it's like, and we see it in homes where you say you can't speak to an older person, you can't speak back. These are cultures that are being challenged now, where younger people can say, no, I don't agree with that, sir. Or I don't agree with that, ma. You can question and ask questions. We can't carry that mentality. And if that generation thinks that the kind of politics that they run, where it's like the word of the governor is final, it's law. He says that the governor has advisors so that the rest of them have no say. meaning that they will leave it for the advisors. But that's not entirely correct. Yes, he has advisors. But even the president, with all his advisors, has made a number of mistakes that Nigerians have pushed back on. When the clemency, the presidential pardon situation happened, did the president not have advisors? Was it not considered an error in the way the manner it was handled? Nigerians kicked back, they listened, and they went back, reviewed it, took into consideration all the complaints that Nigerians had made, and reflected it in the second list that was put forward. So it's not enough to say, oh, he has advisors. We're not going to, all of us are going to be zombies. We have no sense when it comes to the governor. Whatever he says is law. I beg now. I beg now.
And let's also just to add, I think Mr. Jarret Tenebe is actually trying as much as possible to secure his spot. Just 2 weeks ago, we also heard that there's a scuffle, even within the APC, that he shouldn't come back as chairman. Just 2 weeks ago. And there are also plans to equally tout the chairmanship elections. So his job, as it were, according to some stakeholders in the APC, his job is on the line. So you would also wonder why someone will come out and make, such statements as well. But then again, we have to be very careful, and that's what we're highlighting here. We don't want to push a narrative that, in other words, will presume that no matter what happens come 2027, we have to secure a certain number of votes, and if we do not get it, we have to go by all means necessary or possible to ensure that we get that. But let's see what Nigerians are saying in reaction to this particular footage that we just brought to you. Upgrade PR number 1 says, I thought they said Edo ain't Lagos.
No, let's say the way they typically say, Edo no be Lagos.
Edo no be Lagos. What on earth is going on in Edo? 3.5 million voters. What is 2.6 million registered voters in the state? Now, this is what we're talking about. Let's go on to another tweet quickly. The Testament podcast. Not we are. You should personalize it because achieving 3.5 million votes in a state that has less than 2.5 million registered votes and less than 2 million active voters. Is this structure of confidentiality not a testament of zombinism? Zombie people, that's what he says. Well, zombie. I don't understand, but then again, I get your point. Let's see, we'll have another tweet very quickly. They are busy politicking while the nation burns on the insecurity with little or zero governance. It took a foreign power intervention to look like common sense is anywhere near the table. Ayodeji Kayode. Ayodeji, thanks for this tweet. It's a conversation we have always had here on News Central, especially on Breakfast Central. That's this program. I will keep highlighting it, politicking or looking at the issues. So it's true what they say. If you join APC, you automatically lose your sense of reasoning. LOL, Edo people don't enter one chance. This one say they don't get sense. And he actually said that. He said they don't have sense. They don't have break. That anything the governor says, they will do.
Let's look at the updated voters register. Are we done with the tweets?
Yes, we're done. We're done with the tweet.
The updated voters register in Edo State, according to Dr. Anubum Onuoha, the State Resident Electoral Commissioner of INEC, who made a presentation at the State INEC office in Benin, said that Edo State, going by the updated voters register, has 2,629,025 intending voters. This was sometime in 2024, September 21st. This was in 2024, right? So if we have, and then they said that prior to the recently announced CVR in the state, the total number of registered voters during the 2023 general election was 2,501,081 voters. So 3.5 million from where?
So the candidate voters registration shows that you have less than 2 million voters who are active, but you have a total of about 2.5. You see, I hope INEC sits up. Whether we like it or not this morning, we're waking up with this conversation because it is a very critical conversation that borders on the either one, the impunity or pure or punity, whether you like it or not, whichever you want to put it, of Nigeria's electoral process. So if INEC keeps folding its arms and allowing those who have a loud voice and mouth to keep screaming down that they can, in other ways, circumvent the system and adjust it to suit whatever they think. For instance, how would you come out and say you're guaranteeing 3.5 when in true sense you don't have that number? So INEC should be able to put out a statement or speak to them and say, listen, going forward, nobody should be able to pervert or allow these kind of things to go on in their own party. I'm also expecting the presidency by now. They should have been able to say, listen, a democratic setting, we do not in any way encourage. We understand that you love Mr. President, and so this is why I expect the SSAs to come out and talk. Because if it were another party that was doing this, I'm sure other parties too will speak. So I'm expecting them to come out and say, listen, as a party, we do not endorse, I think that's the right word, not condemn, but you do not endorse that party faithfuls go ahead to guarantee XYZ number. And I think the president should also highlight in his speech that if we are doing well, the people will choose.
Again, to mention that, like you just, piggyback off the last statement that you made. If you've done great as an administration, you don't need to do too much.
Nah.
People's votes will reflect that you've done well. Again, this is the same Edo state that is talking about politics and Asiwaju cap and talking about just being suspended if you don't come wearing Asiwaju cap. Whereas 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago or so, that we talked about the young girl who was kidnapped and Harrison Gwamishu and his team had to intervene to get her rescued. We don't know the full details, but what they could say was that the Edo State police officers security agencies were not cooperative, and we didn't hear a statement by the government. We didn't hear a statement by the APC leaders in the state. If you are going to be doing politics, nobody's saying you should not play politics, but at least show that your politics has a human face. When there are issues that are bedeviling the citizens, speak up, lend your voice. It's not pick and choose. Since you want to, throw your weight behind the governor, nobody says you shouldn't. It's important that we all support our leaders. But while you're doing that, do things the right way.
Particular video when Jarret Tenebe make that statement, say they will follow Okpebholo like zombies, in the sense that they don't question any of his decision at all. When I first see that video, I can't put as just one of those things, the way everybody knows Jarret Tenebe say they talk now. So I just can't put as he say, not be anything, make it just did there. But on the second thought, I can't see the reason why BC I need to put for that video. Coupled with the fact that when you look critically into the people that are surrounding Okpebholo, who is the governor of Edo State, there is a need to question that kind of statement. If maybe the people who surround Okpebholo now, for example, now people where say, okay, they have the interest of Edo people at heart, then you go say, okay, yeah, let's most TCIB. But with the kind of people that are surrounding Okpebholo and with what we see that they portray each day that passes by, there is a need to question such statement, because imagine if Okpebholo begin to make wrong decisions and take wrong step in the state, like the wrong step when say any commissioner will not wear Asiwaju cap, the infinity cap, say they will suspend them from ESCO. As in that kind of statement, or that kind of there are other wrongdoings where we know say, okay, so if that kind of thing they come up, or in the area of say, okay, to take decisions that will help Edo State, and he missed it, nobody to correct him, everybody just say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. That is not it's not right for our democracy as a country, and also as a state. It's not right, because in a democracy there is bound to be critics, there is bound to be corrections, there is bound to be negotiation, dialogue, there is bound to be my own view and your view, in order for somebody to come into the right conclusion of a matter. Imagine say everybody for state just follow Okpebholo for yansh without questioning him of his decision, without telling him this is the right way to take and this is how we should go about it. It's something else. It's something else. So again, I want to also use this video to talk to the new INEC chairman. Nigeria, would they operate democracy? Actually, every other nations in the world when they operate on democracy, like Germany, for example, it is actually an offense when we say, I would tell the next person, say who you will vote for, as in influencing the next person, says who you want to vote for. It's also an offense when we say you dey come out on media to say this person, you are going to guarantee this person so amount of votes. Is totally an offense in a well-developed and civilized nation. Nigeria dey civilized, but the way they behave, it's like, so to the new INEC chairman, until we start to, as in, curtail some of these people who will come out on a broad daylight and manipulate election, who will come out on a broad daylight and make statement concerning an election, just like before the 2024 election in Edo State, when even the president came to Edo State and he said, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I promise you, I'm going to give you Edo State. Imagine such statement even coming from the number one citizen of the country. Is totally offensive and is totally unacceptable. Because presidency, as the president, the number one citizen of a nation, you are supposed to show quality leadership. You are supposed to show example to the rest of us. So imagine when a president say, I'm going to give you, which means what's the point for PDP, Labour Party, or any other political party to contest in that election? What's the point when the number one citizens that have the right to command the commandable say, I'm going to give you? There's no need anymore. There's absolutely no need to contest again. So just to the new INEC chairman, please, it's about time you begin to look into some of these statements that some political leaders begins to make. If you are certain that you want to make a change, please look into this. It's very important. Thank you.